Okay, welcome everyone to the Chenrezig Tibetan Buddhist Center live Zoom teaching of Namgyal Khensur Rinpoche. Today we'll begin by making prostrations. So welcome everybody. So we just made prostrations and we'll begin with the introductory prayers. Today Rinpoche will be teaching equalizing and exchanging self with others. We previously went over the 7-point cause and effect explanation of achieving the mind that aspires to enlightenment. And today we're going to go over the other lineage. So we'll get into that explanation in a bit. But before we do so, let's get started with some introductory prayers. And just for auspicious reasons, let's begin to remove any obstacles that we may have in order that would make it so that we wouldn't have a successful completion of the teaching, or that we wouldn't be able to successfully understand the meaning of it. We'll begin with the Heart Sutra. So we received the transmission of this a few weeks ago, and if you did not receive the transmission of it, it's online, so you're able to receive the transmission, and that allows you to gain a deeper understanding of the text because you have this blessing from this unbroken lineage all the way that traces back to Buddha giving the teaching at Vulture Peak Mountain. Everything okay? Ted, everything okay? Okay, so we'll begin with the Heart Sutra. The Sutra of the Heart of Transcendent Knowledge. Thus have I heard, once the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha at Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a great gathering of the Sangha of monks and a great gathering of the Sangha of Bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi that expresses the thing called profound illumination. And at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, while practicing the profound Prajnaparamita, saw in this way. He saw the 5 skandhas to be empty of nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, how should a son or daughter of noble family train who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita? Addressed in this way, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, said to Venerable Shariputra, O Shariputra, son or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita, should see in this way, seeing the 5 skandhas to be empty of nature. Form is emptiness, emptiness also is form. Emptiness is no other than form, form is no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness are emptiness. Thus, Shariputra, all dharmas are emptiness. There are no characteristics. There is no birth and no cessation. There is no impurity and no purity. There is no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no dharmas, no eye, dhatu, up to no mind, dhatu, no dhatu of dharmas, no mind, consciousness, dhatu. No ignorance, no end of ignorance, up to no old age and death, no end of old age and death, no suffering, no origin of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since the Bodhisattvas have no attainment, they abide by means of Prajnaparamita. Since there is no obscuration of mind, there is no fear. They transcend falsity and attain complete nirvana. All the Buddhas of the 3 times by means of Prajnaparamita fully awaken to unsurpassable, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the great mantra of Prajnaparamita, the mantra of great insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra that calms all suffering should be known as true, since there is no deception. Prajnaparamita mantra is said in this way: Teata om gate gate paragate parasangate bodhi soha. Thus, Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound Prajnaparamita. Then the Blessed One arose in that samadhi, praised noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family. Thus it is, O son of noble family. Thus it is. One should practice the profound Prajnaparamita just as you have taught, and all the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Venerable Shariputra and noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, that whole assembly in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas rejoiced and praised the words of the Blessed One. Aga samara de janara samara de yada onga de gade baraga de barazanga de bodhizo baba ganju sanji gae de me doji she baba doji mewa doji shewa doji dragi baji me do me je danji je den go yezo ngeri don ja je jo je wa da me do no be den da de wa da do ba do je mon don don yo ji da chi de ja ne da de le yo. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. Holy Lamas high, wrap the sky of your Dharma bodies in massive clouds of knowledge and love, and let them pour upon the earth of your disciples as we are ready, a shower of rain, the teachings deep and wide. I send forth the Shul Mandala to you, precious Guru. Idam Guru Radha Mandala Gam Niradayami. Sanjay. Yanan Ye Yanam La Yanjo Bado Dani Yazo Yin Nagi Chenye Jibezanam Ye Rola Benje Zanye Jubashu Yadan Ye Janam La Yanju Bado Dani Yazo Yin Nagi Chenye Jibezanam Ye Rola Benje Zanye Jubashu Zanye Janam La Yanju Bado Dani Yazo Yin Nagi Junye Jibe Nanje Jula Menche Sanje Jubayo. So again, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. So previously, Rinpoche gave a teaching on the 7-point cause and effect for realizing the mind that aspires to enlightenment. And when we look at the lineages of instruction on the mind that aspires to enlightenment, or Bodhichitta, we'll see that there are two. One is more of a outer teaching, or kind of a teaching that's given to the masses. It's passed down from Buddha to Lord Maitreya to a Sangha, and then eventually to a Atisha, who teaches the 7-point cause and effect for realizing the mind that aspires to enlightenment. Then there's a second lineage. So that lineage is called the extensive deeds lineage. The next lineage is called the profound view lineage. And this is more of a secret teaching on the mind that aspires to enlightenment that was given from one teacher to a student, from their mouth, from the teacher's mouth into the student's ear, very secretly. And this teaching is called the Equalizing and Exchanging Self with Others practice, and it was passed down from the profound view lineage. So the profound view lineage is passed from Buddha to Manjushri to Nagarjuna, and then eventually to Shantideva, who teaches us the equalizing and exchange of self with others practice and the giving and taking practice of Tonglen. So today Rinpoche is going to give a brief explanation of that equalizing and exchanging self with others practice that was passed down from Buddha to Manjushri to Nagarjuna to eventually Shantideva. Okay, diso. Chirang de dakshen yanje.
Oh yeah. Tata de shanshu chis sanji su de la dajan nyaba ji gun sanji su da jinde menga du gu ne sanji su ni yo res.
Lessa.
Ta jinde menga du gu ne sanji su de jinde menga du de dang yong xie de ne ma xie tian 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 zo yong ge xiang bo yin ji la sang zhe jie.
Lessa.
Ne shanshu san zhe bo.
Lessa.
What is it?
So when we look at generating bodhicitta, or the mind that aspires to enlightenment, there are two instructions that are passed down. So the first instruction is called the equalizing, is called the 7-point cause and effect for realizing the mind that aspires to enlightenment. And then the second instruction is called equalizing and exchanging self with others. So the first instruction that we went over previously, which is called the 7-point cause and effect for realizing the mind that aspires to enlightenment, that again was passed down from Buddha to Lord Maitreya to a Sangha to Lord Atisha. We first have to generate equanimity, as we stated. Equanimity, an equal desire to benefit our friends, enemies, and neutrals. And once we establish this base, or this ground of equanimity, then we generate this idea, this fact in our minds that all sentient beings are our mothers. Then we remember their kindness and we wish to repay their kindness. Then we generate love through the force of the attraction. And when we say attraction, we become attracted to all sentient beings, and not in a way of attachment, attracted to the fact that because they've been so kind to us, because they've done so many good things for us, we then are drawn to them magnetically. So that attractive word, love through the force of attraction, is almost like a magnet that forces us to them because of the kindness they've shown us, and this desire that we have so strongly to repay it. Then we wish to have them to be happy. And that is like a magnetic force that draws us to them and draws us to that idea that we want to repay their kindness, and how nice it would be if they had happiness in the causes of happiness. Love through the force of attraction. And then generating great compassion, generating the desire, how may all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And then generating the extraordinary attitude, the idea that I will take it on myself, the task of freeing all sentient beings from suffering and bringing them to a state of happiness. And then these are the 6 causes that make bodhicitta erupt, that make bodhicitta generate. So this last of the 6 causes is this idea that comes into our mind as we make this commitment to take on the task of freeing all sentient beings, that we are handicapped and are not omniscient and don't know what all sentient beings necessarily need. Don't know if they need the small scope, the medium scope, the great scope. We don't know if they need the perfection vehicle or the tantric vehicle. We don't know if we give them something, if it will help them or hurt them. So it's because of that, get down. It's because of that we are handicapped and we don't know how to truly help sentient beings. We realize that fact at that extraordinary attitude, and then we generate this idea that we must become a Buddha, because we know that the one being who has the capacity to do all of those things, to understand what will be of ultimate benefit, is the Buddha. So we must become a Buddha. So the result of those 6 causes is the mind that aspires to enlightenment, or bodhicitta. So that's why it's called the 7-point cause and effect. 6 causes and 1 effect. Juje menga don lasar, then dakshen yanje. Summa, lie down.
다 다른 영화 제공 사실보다 그래서 그래 세제만 되는 자니에 봐봐서 어떻게 생냐고
Lessa.
다운으로 그랬어 말봐
Lessa.
다운으로제
Lessa.
되네
Ran Shenzhen.
다 되네 제지 다가지지
Lessa.
어떻게 집을로네
Lessa.
나집에서 저기 집에서야
Lessa.
아니 나집에 온도야
Lessa.
어떻게 제가 다니나 집 세제비 수수이잖아.
So then the next lineage of instruction is called the equalizing and exchanging self with others practice. So first we have to, in order to practice this, generate that same ground of equanimity, an equal desire to benefit our friends, enemies, and neutrals. So we generate this equal ground in relation to all sentient beings. And then when we look at them as our object of observation, we change our mind from a self-cherishing attitude, and we take that same energy and power that cherishes ourselves, and we change that mind to cherish others. So this exchange that's taking place, a lot of times you'll see it instructed where we just we're pretend we're someone else or something. We're changing the mind, where the mind that cherishes ourselves, as strongly as it cherishes ourselves, cherishes someone else. So we do then look to what that being's needs are. So we imagine that we can give them happiness and take away their suffering, because that is how we could cherish them the way we would cherish ourselves, because we ourselves don't want suffering. We ourselves want happiness in the strongest form. So if we wanted that in that same strength for others, that would help us to generate this bodhicitta. Then Dakshen Yanje Detsuge Geshe, this the Lojun Desh Ran Shenzhen Jun.
다른 진진 거봐 그주고 많은 진진에 대고 주시 라니 집안의 진진데 네 그래서 그래 주연 다시 자원도 들으스 근데 연대 다시 자원데 제 집안의 진진.
So we know that when we look at the difference between the Rangi Chepa Zimbi. So when we look at the 2 types of minds that we have a mind that can cherish ourselves, and we have a mind that can cherish others. So we know that the self-cherishing mind has been the cause of all of our negativities. And we find in the Guru Puja, where it states that this chronic disease of cherishing ourselves is the cause of giving rise to our unsought suffering. Perceiving this, we seek your blessings to blame, begrudge, and bestow and destroy the monstrous demon of selfishness. So we recognize the excellent qualities of cherishing others and the negative qualities of cherishing ourselves. And then it goes on to say, since cherishing ourselves is the doorway to all torment, while cherishing our mothers is the foundation of all that is good, we seek your blessings to make our practice the yoga of exchange for self and others. So here, this exchange, this mind that we're changing, so lo jung, mind training. What are we training the mind to do? We're training the mind to change from this mind that cherishes ourself, this selfish mind, that then transforms that powerful attitude and just turns it towards others' needs, to cherish them. So we can see that it states that in Shanti Deva's text that The Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas cherish others. Ordinary beings cherish themselves. Look at the difference between the two. The Shenju Long, the Shanqi Semba Dan Sanje, the Ran Chenzin Ponsong, Ngatsu Ran Chenzin Ponsong, the Chapagare, the Abbot. Then the Dakshin Yamje Gonja, the Chishina, the Unapo Ugapo. So in way that we can meditate upon this is we can imagine that all sentient beings in varying degrees, depending on our capacity, starting with our friends and then neutrals and then our enemies, depending on our capacity to meditate. We can even begin with ourselves, but we imagine that the sentient beings that we're having as our objects of observation are in the space in front of us. And we imagine that in our right nostril, we're taking on all of their suffering. We imagine it in the form of a black light. This black light then comes into our nostril and takes away the suffering of these sentient beings. And we imagine that it then goes into our self-cherishing attitude and it burns it. We imagine that this black ray burns away this self-cherishing attitude. And we imagine that the suffering is almost being shaven off sentient beings like a razor is shaving hair off. We imagine that the suffering is coming in this form of the black light. We're taking it on and it's destroying our self-cherishing attitude. And then we're imagining in the form of a white light or ray from our left nostril that we're giving all of our happiness to the sentient beings that are in front of us, all of our root virtues, all of our happiness. And we imagine that this transformation has taken place from the object of observation. So we imagine that those sentient beings have transformed into Buddhas. We imagine that their suffering has been taken away. We imagine that they have all the forms of happiness. And if we look at the self-cherishing attitude and what it produces and what it leaves, what remainders it leaves, when we look at it in terms of pathway, if we still have self-cherishing attitude, we still have obstructions to omniscience. And if we still have obstructions to omniscience, then we can't truly help sentient beings. We're handicapped. And that's a subtle form of suffering. So we have to imagine that sentient beings have been transformed into purity, into states of Buddhahood as a result of our meditation practice. Now, this is imagination. This is something that's leaving imprints so that we will eventually be able to bring them to those states and connect with all sentient beings. We make our continuums ripen into this idea that we have a responsibility in relationship to everyone that is a mind possessor. And that responsibility is to have them free from suffering and have a state of happiness. And the only way that that is its purest form is if we bring them to a state of Buddhahood. And if we are Buddhas, we will be able to do that in a much easier fashion without all these handicaps. So this is how we meditate on equalizing and exchanging self with others, the giving and taking practice of Tonglen in a very abbreviated form. Okay, then Trua Dan Lenja Tishina Yure. So we'll see if there's any questions. And then today, so we're going to end here, and I'll leave the questions open while we do the dedication, just in case there's anyone else. But we have the meeting at 10 o'clock today, all members meeting. So anyone who's a member, make sure you tune in. We're just going over some business of the bylaws and so forth. Everything's going very well. Rinpoche's health is excellent right now. We're just so pleased with everything that's happening. So I just want to say that, and I want to say thank you to any of the old students that are tuning in. We've gotten in touch with some of the places that Rinpoche used to tour too. So hopefully we'll have more people tuning in, and hopefully in the future putting together a retreat after COVID and everything, where all of Rinpoche's students can maybe get together and we'll do white Tara practice and so forth. So this is an aspiration that we have. As well as the ability to transmit the 5 great texts. We're still working on that and working on the ideas of more transmissions, but just making sure that when we're doing the transmissions, we're reaching all of the students that would want those transmissions. So we're slowly kind of getting everybody kind of back in touch so that they can get other people back in touch. So when we do these transmissions and they're live, many people can benefit. Even though they'll be recorded, and Rinpoche says the transmission sticks in a recorded fashion, it's nice to be there live. So still no open questions. We'll do the concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I have collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Lobsang Drakpa to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well. With whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the 3 times, I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In the pure land surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness, all powerful Avalokiteshvara Tenzin Gyatso, may you stay until samsara's end. I pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Wandak, upholder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, spiritual friend who trained extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts with exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Tujaji Rinpoche, Gutsi Shapi Denona.
Oh, yeah. That is.
Okay, we'll see everybody later. Thank you.